Hey guys, welcome back to this channel. Hope you have a wonderful day. My name is Ronnie and I'll be your host as always. If you're new to this channel, I talk a lot of things when it comes to money, personal finance and everything in between. In today's video, I'm going to talk about where my wife and I at when it comes to our financially retirement and everything else in between. So about a few weeks ago or so, we pay off one of our investment property. Because we paid off that in full, there's a little bit of a problem, slightly minor problem. The problem would be the fact that now we don't have big enough fund in our emergency fund. So having said that, now we have to rebuild our emergency fund. So sometimes when that happened, I felt like I'm actually going backwards. The fact that a big lump sum of cash is paid our debt in full, let's say, our mortgage in full, so that way we don't pay any more interest to any of the mortgage companies. And because of that, now our reserves getting really, really thin. So it feels like I'm going backward in that aspect. This is from experience. There's a mixed feeling about paying a big lump sum and the fact that now we've got somewhat minute. I felt like currently anyway, that we're a bit stagnated, because we used to have that big lump of money sitting around and we can see it, and the things that we can do with it, the imagination goes through. You can buy a car, you can go on vacation, you can do this, you can do that, you can buy another investment property with a mortgage and whatnot. That was the thought process when I first started. Then I realized to myself, I don't have any more debt in here, but at the same time, I don't have enough reserve. So if you guys new to, trying to pay off your debt, there's a number of things that you got to do beforehand before you pay off your mortgage. So at the time that this is being recorded, we don't have any car payments. We don't have any, car financing. Let's say both of our cars paid in full. We don't have consumer debt, credit card debt. We have two houses. One of them is principal place of home and the other one is investment property. So those two is paid in full. We also own a bucket load of property investing. However, majority of that is still with the mortgage. I think the last count is about 10-ish, somewhere around there. But we're in the process of paying off one after another. So that way we don't have any more mortgage in all of them. The reason why we're doing this is because we don't believe in debt anymore. I know some people probably thinking, but you get the tax write-off and whatnot. We don't believe in that system, because that's the way I see it. That's how majority of people build wealth, using debt. I don't want to build debt. I don't want to build wealth via debt. I want to pay for homes, paid for properties. That's what I'm trying to achieve in our journey anyway. On top of that, we're also opening up with I call it diversification, trying using Raise, Spaceship, Comsec Pocket and managed funds throughout our journey in order for us to achieve financial freedom as well. So doing all of those things require a lot of different type of actions here and there. So the biggest action that we took would be paying off the mortgage. But because we paid off the mortgage in full, we a big lump sum of that that we used to having in our bank account, it gone to nearly virtually none. So that would mean we have to go back to our first step, which is saving for our emergency fund. And it feels like it's a long way away in order for us to achieve that, because every week comes in, that goes to our emergency fund. Every week we get I guess our income for our properties stuff before we do anything else, that goes to our emergency fund. So there's a lot of that's happening at the current stage. It has been, what is it, like 2 or 3 weeks or something, just less than a month since we paid off the property in full. But it feels like, yeah, it just keep on that monotonous of, okay, here comes the income, here goes to emergency fund, here comes another one, here comes more emergency fund. So we can't really do any investing at the current stage. Why I felt like I'm a bit stagnated also is because, well, until we can build our emergency fund, roughly about 6 months of expenditure, we are not going to do any investing whatsoever. Purely the fact that this is emergency. In case of emergency, you break the glass. This is our emergency reserve. Now, how did we figure out a 6 months figure? The way we figure out is this. If you are in a job, let's say pandemic hit and it would take you about 6 months before you can actually find that new job. You have a reserve fund that can sustain you after about 6 months wage. So everyone's numbers is slightly different. So the way I work it out, let's say if you earn $1,000 per week and you spend $1,000 per week in order to sustain your living, paying rent, paying food, paying daycare for us anyway, school fees, having fuel in your car. So if that was costing you about $1,000, so you need 6 months, which is about $26,000 in reserve, in your emergency fund. This is just emergency if anything breaking down, a fridge breakdown, a car breakdown that requires whatever fixing, fixture upper type of thing, then you use that money. So that's where we're at. We have to rebuild that. So at the current stage, I think we've got about 2 months out of 6. The 6 months thing is just our, I guess, our buffer. Some people only use 3 months as an emergency fund, and it might take you about 3 months to get a new job. So that's I'll put down 6 months because just in case it would take me about 6 months to get a new job. Even though we don't require a job, but just in case, if I really need to find work, it would take me 6 months to get there. So that's the reason why. What we used to do, on the other hand, is like after we have the emergency fund, we can then invest every single week. We were able to generate hence why you can see in our account roughly about 20-odd thousand or it's about 65,000 so far anyway on micro investing and ETFs. That's the vehicle that we're using at the moment, and there's going to be managed funds somewhere in the middle as soon as we build our emergency fund. So yeah, feel a bit stagnated because I feel like I'm going back to the second step, let's say. So if you guys feeling the same way, trust me, it's not fun looking at your bank account. It's going back to virtually none. From like it used to be have a triple digit numbers in there and become only 1 digit. That feels a bit thin. Your wallet feels a bit thin. But hey, in order for us to achieve financial freedom, we try to minimize debt. In order for us to minimize debt is pay off the mortgage in full. So it's sort of like balancing act, I guess. I know that psychologically it's only a temporary measure. I'm sure within a short period of time. Let's assume it's going to take you about 1 year in order for you to receive, to have enough emergency fund. Then it's a temporary measure. It's going to be 1 year. I mean, for us, it feels like it's taking us like years in order for us to get there. But I know for sure it's only going to be a matter of weeks before we can have our emergency fund rebuilt. So I think it's normal having stagnated or feels that frustration, because now I'm looking at all of the prices for Rays as well as Spaceship. They're all going down in the past couple of weeks. So it's frustrating the fact that I don't have the fund. Well, we have funds, but I'm not allowed to touch that because that's for emergency. We have fund to invest, but I'm not allowed to do that just yet until our reserves is actually back to where it was. So yeah, if you felt the same way like what we're doing, I think it's normal, I guess. It's sometimes like it's very enticing. It's like that shiny object. It's like, ooh, there's nothing. The price is down. We should buy some more. And then when you look at also other investment out there that you want to buy, because yep, we can't really do much at the moment. We just focus on an emergency fund. We just need to build that emergency fund to 6 months. Once you do that, then you can then go crazy on investing again. So that's where we at. And every time I see when it comes to price drop, I feel like, ooh, we can use our emergency fund to pull that. But no, don't do that. Because after all, emergency is emergency. It's not investing is emergency. No. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents. This is just based on my personal experience and what have I done in order for us to achieve financial freedom. If you like this type of stuff, don't forget to subscribe, comment and share. That'd be muchly appreciated. So emergency fund number 1 and investing is number 2. So anyway guys, talk to you guys in the next video. Peace, bye.